Welcome in, everybody, to another edition of Argo Sports Insider. I'm Will Kennedy, and this is Coach Jeff Burkhammer, men's basketball coach at the University of West Florida. We start on the court because it's February. Almost February. Yep. It's January now. We're in the midst of that GSC season. You guys are coming off 3 straight home games. A couple nice wins this last weekend. Mississippi College comes in, different style of game. And then Delta State in the most recent one, up and down affair. Bottom line is you've got 14 wins now, 8 in the conference, and things are rolling.
Well, it was a great weekend for us because Mississippi College we knew was physical and tough, and we kind of had to work through that, figure out how to win that game, and we were able to close it out pretty good. And then to beat Delta the way we did, just pushing the ball and really pushing tempo, and thought our changing defenses were really good in that game. So excited for our players. That's a great homestand to win 3 in a row.
What's really interesting is you mentioned the different styles of games, and you see this in the GSC depending on who you're playing. You've got all the pieces now, it feels like, to be able to kind of win whatever that game looks like. And we've seen times where you'll go big and you'll bring in a Jackson Henningfield and put him out there with some bigger bodies, or times like we saw against Mississippi College where you'll go with Jenkins and you'll go with Weatherspoon and kind of have a more smaller athletic look, but you can mix all these things together.
That is a nice thing from a coaching standpoint, is we can play different styles, different ways. We can zone, we can man, we can trap, we can press. And then on the offensive end, we can come down, we can run different sets, we can run our motion stuff, we can run some things which is dribble drive. It just kind of depends on the lineup and maybe the matchups and kind of who's going that night. That's what's been good for us all year, is our bench has really helped us.
17 games in, or into the season at this point, and you kind of are in that part now in the GSC, right, where you start seeing teams for that second time. How does that change things a little bit? Well,
we got one more week here where we see a team for the first time, but then we start seeing those guys. Valdosta would be the first one the second time through, and you might want to add a wrinkle here or there and change a couple things up, but for the most part you're going to do what you've been doing to be successful.
Talk about the most recent 2 games, and Dan Sofield goes out and he has good games every time. He's your leading scorer for a reason, and sets a record, breaks a program record for most three-pointers made in the win over Delta. And in that game, though, it wasn't just three-pointers. He's dunking on the fast break. He's blocking shots. He's doing a variety of things. He's not just a shooter.
Man, hadn't he gotten better from the freshman year to now? You look at his body, you look at his size, his aggressiveness, whether it be taking the ball to the basket, creating shots off the dribble, catch and shoot threes in transition, running and dunking in transition. He's just become a complete player, and he's one of the best players in the league for a reason.
Get out on the road this next week coming up, and it's a huge one right off the gate. On the 20th coming up, you're going to have a matchup with Union. They're leading the conference, really kind of de facto for first place.
Well, huge game. I think our guys will be excited about playing. We've always played well up there. But we'll go to Union, and that game will be for first place at this point in the season. They're, I think, it may be a game up on us, but that'll be a good challenge. They've got a very good team. They got a lot of good pieces. They've played well. They've beaten a lot of good people. So really, really good trip for us to go and kind of find out where we're at with them. That's a hard trip, so hopefully we'll handle it the right way, go in and play really well at Union, and regardless of what happens, turn around and be able to play on Saturday well against Christian Brothers, because you don't want to go and lose and be down and not play well against Christian Brothers, or get a win and not be excited about playing Christian Brothers. You got to find a way to understand those are still one-game deals. Go in and play as well as you can at Union. Go in and play as well as you can at Christian Brothers. One game it's not going to make your season or break your season, but you go and have a great weekend.
Coach, congrats on these last 2 wins. Good luck on this road trip coming up, and we'll talk to you after that.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Real change occurs in that split second, a moment of connection among people.
With a common purpose,
a shared vision,
and a unified goal. What will you change?
What will change you? The University of West Florida. No limits.
What does Argo Spirit look like? Is it finding the perfect Argo outfit to show your team pride? Is it giving back while getting your pre-game grub? Or is it connecting with your community in the perfect spot? At Penn Air Federal Credit Union, it's being a proud sponsor of UWF Education, the Alumni Association, athletics, Penn Air Field, and having a spirit of communerosity. Learn more at pennair.org/aboutus.
Time to talk some women's hoop. Coach Stephanie Lawrence Yelton joins us now. You guys are off to we're about halfway through, and you look up and 13-2, 8-1 in conference play. Things are rolling along pretty well. And we talked about it on our broadcast, through GoArgos.com. You're doing it in a variety of ways, missing some of your pieces at times. I know that's satisfying as a coach.
It is. I mean, it's great to see players step up in their positions. It's great to see players be flexible and have to play maybe out of position but still be successful. And it's great to see our players step up and face the adversity and the challenges that the game is bringing to us this year. So, I love where we're at. It's been pulling our hair out and kind of piecemealing it together these last couple of weeks, but we're in a good spot.
This is kind of what it looks like, to let everybody know out there. There's supposed to be a 3-game homestand. You lose the first game of that because of COVID protocols. Then you don't have your point guard for 2 games, and you're able to win both of those games. And kind of now we're at that point where you'll start seeing teams for the second time around to take this record into that stretch of the season. Does it put you in a good spot?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, 13-2 right now where we are in the season is great, but still the rest of January is pretty brutal for us. We've got some really tough road games. We've still got to come up and play Valdosta State, on the road, and it's just going to be challenging for us. And so, where we sit is good, but we've still got to finagle and really figure out how to continue to beat people who we need to beat, but also figure out how to beat some people that are neck and neck with us or above us in conference play.
Constant game of adjustments, both when you're on the court playing, but even in between games. And you're starting to see, I think, a little bit of what other teams are going to try to do to you. And that's definitely come after your freshman and Zoe Pillar and try to, get her uncomfortable. You guys tend to find solutions no matter what they throw at you.
And that's a testament to our players, to really stepping up and playing within themselves. You mentioned Jacqueline in the Delta State game. She didn't score well in the first half, but little did anyone know she spent the full week in non-contact protocol with practice because she was going through a little bit of a back injury. So when you get into a game and there's contact, there's got to be an adjustment. And she rose to the occasion and adjusted to the game and really blew it up in the second half. But same thing, with our inside play. Zoe at times has been hugely successful. There's other times that teams are taking her away from us and other people have to step up and accept the challenge. But I think that's where we are. I look at, when I'm watching film of our team and I'm looking at from perspective of an opposing coach, I'm thinking, man, when this Argo team is really clicking and they're really gelling, they are a very, very hard team to take things away. We are pound for pound hard to handle when we're really clicking and gelling.
You have to go out on the road a little bit now. It's a little while till you'll be back here in the field house. We get into early February for that. This road trip, and you get kind of head up towards Tennessee. It's always a little bit of a challenge.
Certainly a challenge. It's a long trip. It's one of our longest of the year, and you're going up and playing 2 very competitive opponents. Union, who's the #1 team in our league right now, a storied history in women's basketball, right, has won national championships at the NAIA level, has been an Elite 8 team in their Division II time, so, no slouch going into Union's home court. And then Christian Brothers, who is really making a rise under their new head coach. They're playing some really good basketball. They are super young, so sometimes they're a little bit inconsistent, but man, when they're clicking, they are clicking. And the hard thing about Christian Brothers right now in the Memphis area is that there's no fans in the stands. So really, you've got to create your own energy when you're going into that arena. That
Union game you mentioned, it's one game. You got to look at it that way. I know at some level, but how big is it in the grand scope of things?
I just told the team today at practice, to be the best, you have to beat the best. And right now, they are the best that are sitting in front of us. And so if you want the title, you've got to go out and take it. And no one's going to give it to you. But yeah, it's one game. But we would love to see how we measure up and what can we do to really challenge Union. Again, I think it's going to be a really tough Thursday, but we'll see.
Thursday with Union, Christian Brothers on Saturday, and we'll talk to you after those 2. Good luck to you, Coach.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Zach Pullman. I'm a graduate assistant here at the University of West Florida, and I work in athletic communications. When I found out that I received the Bright Future Scholarship, I knew this would take a burden off of my family and kind of help me through college. Given the opportunity to pay for my complete undergraduate degree, I did not have to worry about student debt, so I was able to continue my journey of education. Just want to thank the Florida Lottery for not only helping me through my college journey, but countless others in the state of Florida and all they do to help education within the state.
So far the season's going very well. We've had some interruptions just like everybody else, but we've done a good job. The ladies have trained really well, and our midseason meets went really well with diving in with swimming. So looking forward to the second half here, and we're only about 4 weeks away from conference or so. So ready to, get ready to rest and get fast again. Yeah, with both teams, Emory's, perennial Division III powerhouse, and Delta's always good too. We battle back and forth at conference at NCAA's. So looking forward to some good racing. Obviously seeing some different people. We haven't swam against either one of them this year, so new freshmen, things like that. So should be good. We didn't get to swim against Emory last year, so hopefully we'll see some new faces and our girls can step up and swim fast and really just race and try to do the best they can. It's we're not resting or anything for it, so it's just a normal meet, but really try to get some more racing opportunities. We've been a little bit shy on that this year with some cancellations and things, but hopefully we just get out there and race and put in our best efforts. I think there's 8 seniors and 2 juniors that are going to be done this year. The juniors are graduating early too, so it's almost like an extended class. We are seeing more and more of that with the great academics our girls have. So, it's tough to lose people that have been around for 4 years or even the 3 years. They've been good contributors and good solid leaders this year. Basically our 4-year swimmers and divers are our captains, so it's sort of like a senior leadership kind of idea. So they've done a great job this year, and really going through the pandemic last year, they've shown good leadership all the way through. So we're going to miss that. I'm also going to miss, their speed and their talents as well. But we hope to be able to put on a good celebration this weekend and really highlight them and let them know how much they've meant to the program and how much it's going to be hard to replace them for sure.
For those who sweat in determined pursuit, and those who meet the morning with a firm handshake and a smile, and breathe between stages of unwavering effort. Andrews Institute, for those who move.
Welcome back to Argo Sports Insider. We're here with Daniel Sofield from men's basketball. Dan, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So you recently broke the school's all-time three-point record. So going into the game, did you know that you were just 2 3-pointers away from breaking the record?
I did know. Going into this year, I knew I had a certain amount to go to break it. But after last week's games, I kind of talked to a coach, and he let me know I was only a couple away, and I had a really good chance of breaking it this weekend. So going in, I was looking to get it done with early so we can just focus on the game and getting the win. Nice little 35-point win on top of it made things a little bit sweeter.
So obviously your shooting has been at the top, not only for the team, but in the conference. You have the 4th highest field goal percentage in the conference and the highest 3-point field goal percentage. So what can you credit to your shooting? Because obviously that doesn't just happen overnight. So what do you do in practice and outside of practice to just really help you improve your shooting?
It all comes down to what I do in the off season. That's where I just get a lot of shots up. But, most of the credit goes to my teammates and my coaches. Run a lot of great plays for me to get good open looks. And the easiest part is just to make them. And getting open is the hardest part, and they do a great job doing that for me.
So you moved down to Pensacola all the way from New Jersey. So what was your recruiting process like, and how did you end up down here in Pensacola?
Yeah, so my recruiting process went late into my senior year of high school. Wasn't really sure what I was doing, where I was going until later on. I knew I wanted to come down to the south somewhere, preferably Florida. And late into my senior year, I got in touch with Coach Berkhammer and started talking. Found a great time to come down here to go on a visit. Came down here, loved the place, worked out for him. He offered me a scholarship, and the rest is history. And I've made the most of it my 3 years here so far.
So you've been here for 3 seasons now, and athletically you're still a sophomore, so you still have a lot of time left. But what advice would you give to anybody who's maybe looking to play collegiate basketball?
Just look for wherever you feel is the best fit for you. Don't just go somewhere because it's a prestigious school or nothing like that. Go where you feel is the best fit for you, where you'll be able to expand yourself as a player and as a person, most importantly, because that's what this school has done for me. It's done a lot for me. I'm so glad I chose this school. So grateful to be here and really looking forward to the next couple of years.
Thank you, Dan, for being here with us today. Be sure to visit goargos.com or download the Argo Armada app for all the latest information on UWF athletics. That's it for this episode of Argo Sports Insider. We'll see you next week.